Hey, welcome back to JG3 Reviews. My name is James, and here we explore the world of fountain pens, ink, and paper. And today, it is a fountain pen. This is the Hongdian N2, a teal acrylic pen that really is just a great looking pen. But you know what I'm going to ask. It looks good, but can it write? So in this review, we will look at the features of the pen and all of that good stuff, but we will also see how does the pen write, what are its pros and cons, and ask the question, is this pen worthy of your collection? Let's spin that camera and check it out. All right, first let's look at the design and features of this teal Hongdian N2. First and most obvious is that really great looking acrylic. You can see that it has depth to the material changes within the acrylic. I really like the way the light plays with this acrylic. It's very similar to the teal acrylic that you find on the Momento M600, another great pen. This one an homage to the Parker Duofold. But there are definitely differences here. But Hongdian does play with the material a bit differently. Let's start down here at the bottom with that end cap. It looks almost like a faux twist knob for a piston, but this is a cartridge converter pen. Then you come to your first chromed trim ring, which looks quite good, and that one is done quite well. And pretty much a straight line to that cap, which has the double trim ring. Now I will say that this would be one of my very few nitpicks with this pen, is that you can, in places, feel that sharp edge of those trim rings. It's not bad. It's not like some other pens that I have where it's real sharp and you even have to think about what you put this next to in a pen case. It's not that bad, but they do protrude slightly past the acrylic, and that's just something to know about. You'll be able to feel that. Again, that material just looking great in this light. Then you come to the clip, which is wide at the top, then quickly narrows and is straight down, has a bit of a curve to it, so there is a good gap in there, and there's a springiness to it. Then you'll notice that it flares out at the top just before you get to that thin finial, which is chromed and does throw a lot of light. But you can see that Dove of Peace logo that Hongdian uses from time to time and the wreath around it, and that's nicely done. We'll count the turns. It is 1 1/4, so just 1 1/4 turns, nice and fast. Now that we have that cap off, you can see that grip section is kind of like a duofold grip section, but not exactly. It's a little bit longer, and it doesn't flare out quite as much, but it is nice and comfortable. It's black plastic, and you get an easy grip, so no issues there ergonomically. We open up the pen, and of course, this is going to have a Hongdian converter, and as usual, it is a 3.4 millimeter Chinese standard converter, and it will accept also 3.4 millimeter cartridges. Now let's look at this nib close up. It is two-tone. It is a steel nib with gold-toned Chinese knot as a logo. Hongdian's been using that Chinese knot logo quite a bit on their number 6 nibs, and I think it looks great. You also have that medium designation because this is a medium nib, and of course I like that that is on the nib where it belongs and easy to find. Typical plastic feed. Their nibs come as a nib unit and can be swapped out with other Hongdian nib units, and I've quickly come to enjoy their medium steel nibs. All right, for our size comparison today, we have first the featured pen, the Hongdian N2, in that really great looking teal acrylic, next to the Momento in what I think is the same teal acrylic, but showing you how different those designs really are from one another. And then of course a TWSBI Eco, a pen that a lot of people have, and almost out of ink and ready to be cleaned, right? And just to have something a little bit bigger for scale here, and another terrific acrylic, the Leonardo Momento Grande with silver trim. Really nice pen, that one. And now uncapped, we find that the N2 is actually the shortest of this selection of pens. And here we have the pens in their posted lengths. That M600 is a bit of a shallow poster, so it exaggerates the length of that pen. The N2 here coming in at the shortest, but only by a small margin. All right, let's see how this pen writes. It does post securely, comfortable, not too crazy back weighted. This is a medium nib, a number 6 steel nib. And this is Pelican Royal Blue, otherwise known as Königsblau. A little bit of a skip. I think that might have been me, but I don't know. Really a nice, smooth nib. Let's see here. This is a stiff nib, so I don't expect a whole lot. This is just no pressure whatsoever. Just a little bit, and then light on the up and down and up and down. And you do see, you can coax just a little bit. I wouldn't push it too far because it's not really made for that, but yeah, not too bad. Let's test this for wetness. Ah, that's a really good wet medium nib. Look at that. Paper is Rhodia paper. Now, I don't know if you guys can tell, but this thing is just gliding across the paper. Now it's time for our quick writing test. Just lightly, very quickly, going across the page to see if we get skips or gaps or anything like that. All right. I don't see anything. I felt myself lift right in here, but I can't see where it failed to write. So even where I could feel my own lift, it looks like it was all right. Boy, the pen just covered that really, really well. All right, let's talk likes and dislikes. If you're a longtime subscriber to this channel, you know that I like that material. And isn't that what drives so many of us to look at various pens in the first place? If it was purely a matter of function, we would all just have 1 or 2 or 3 pens depending on the variety of nibs that we might like to have. But what drives a lot of pen owners into being pen collectors is material. Whether that is dynamic acrylics like this, or brass, copper, other materials, stainless steel, things like that. Material really plays heavy in today's market when it comes to a decision of whether or not to add a pen to your collection. And I really do like the material that they've chosen for this N2. All right, second like. Minor thing, but I really do like that they chose to go with silver trim. I really am more of a silver trim person than a gold trim person, and so that just plays into my own personal preferences, but I do like that they did that and made this available in a silver trimmed version of the pen. Now that does bring me to my first dislike, and that is that plasticky looking finial, and this is really a nitpick on my part. I'm admitting that up front, but it's my nitpick. And that is that I actually had to do a temperature test to know that this wasn't just a really cheap piece of plastic. It does seem to be metal. There is a temperature difference between it and the plastic, and it is the same temperature as the bits that are metal. So I'm pretty sure that it's metal, but it just doesn't look metal. It's kind of an unconvincing piece when it comes to looking as metal as it should, if that makes sense. I know some people go to concerts and don't look as metal as they should. If I went to a metal concert, I would not look as metal as one should. So, there's that. Anyway, that's nitpicky, I know, but it's there. Next is the converter, because if you're going to make a converter pen, include a converter with the pen. And so I always give credit to those who include the converter. Now my next dislike, again, it's minor, but it's there, and so I'm going to tell you about it, is that right here, I don't know if the camera will even pick it up because I'm having trouble with focus on the camera today, but right there is just a little splotch, a little overrun of glue when this finial was put on here that somebody missed, and that's really a shame, because otherwise there are no obvious flaws to this pen and its construction. There's that little bit of that edge thing, but a lot of pens have that, and sometimes that's by design. But this is a mistake that should have been caught by quality control, because it's pretty easy, at least with my eye and this lighting. I can see that every time I spin the pen past it, and it just keeps catching my eye. And I have to include in my likes this medium nib. It writes so smoothly. The match of this nib to this Rhodia paper is just ideal. And so, always a shout out to a great medium nib. And this pen definitely came with a terrific medium nib. Hongdian's been nailing those lately, and I really like that. Increasingly more important as the economy goes on in its current direction is value, and the value for the money, the material that's used, how good that material looks, how well the pen writes, comfort in the hand, it's not a crazy heavy pen. All of those things combine for me that I think the pen is of really good value. And especially when you consider you can get far chintzier pens at the same price point. This is really a great pen. So I would recommend you check that out if this is the kind of pen that you're looking for. Also, I would like you to consider hitting that like, share, and subscribe button, hit that bell, and God bless you, and I hope that you have a wonderful week.